Hello, this is Skylit Lake reading Super Science by thatchickendude. Chapter 57 Research Log Update. This is Dr. Izuku Midoriya reporting from the Neo Icon Phoenix Research Facility, or what's left of it. And by that, I mean we got invaded and beaten up really badly. I'll explain later, but for now, this is just another update of the current events surrounding the NIP facility. The first thing to cover is that we were invaded, again, but we survived. Mostly. It was the Yakuza this time, and they were after something that is currently classified. They lost a lot of their forces in the beginning until the boss carved a path. Then we took them out one after the other till only the boss was left. However, he used his quirk, called Overhaul, to construct himself a massive false body, made from the remains of his men and building itself, leading to a whole heap of damages and whatnot. Then we sent Torchtook after him, and with the aid of heroes, he was finally defeated. And for what happened, the only thing I can say on camera is that he got torched. No pun intended. The only survivor of the attack on the accuser side was one of the 8 bullets, a man who went by the name of Kendo Rapper. He was also responsible for the only injured party on our end, but that was due to Dr. Cho trying to fight him on her own. Apart from that and the building, everyone is fine. Due to this, the Japanese government has allowed us free access to a plot of land I had in mind for an expansion of the facility, in small part due to us taking down the Yakuza. But now we've had to condemn several parts of the facility due to the damage and possible breaches from thieves. Anyhow, that's the current situation we're experiencing. Now we just have to contact Uraraka Construction Co. to start building our new facility. We're even going to add dorms, for obvious reasons. Anyway, just before the invasion, Dr. Hankayo's pet spider, Ungliot, got into the chamber where we kept the Singularity Soul, where one fragment remained after breaking it. And well, she got, bigger. And way bigger. She is so big that she nearly outsized the room she was contained in. And now we have to break the walls down just to get her out, cause she hasn't stopped growing. In addition to that, several changes were made to her physiology as she was exposed to the radiation. First, to over 25 feet tall, and is currently 50 feet tall. And is currently 50 feet tall if she holds up her thorax and stretches her legs out. Apart from that, she almost doesn't even resemble a spider anymore. Sure, she got the spindly legs, fangs, and thorax of one, but she isn't. She's now has several dozen eyes, all bunched up on her head, all colored red. She has 12 legs of varying sizes, and once microscopic hairs are now large and thick enough to look more like spikes that cover her body. Her jaws now hinge like a mammal instead of an arachnid, and a whole host of different sized teeth sit inside, some of which are layered like shark teeth. Honestly, she horrifies me. She also has the innate ability to eat light and expel darkness. I don't know how she does it. But she does. And when she eats a light in a certain area, no light can penetrate the darkness left behind. We've tried everything from replacing light bulbs and wiring, but no light, not even fire, will shine in that room. I'm really glad Ungliot is on our side. Otherwise, she might just eat every last bit of light on Earth and leave it in endless darkness. She can also create black webs from her abdomen, We're not exactly sure what the webs can do, but one thing we do know is that they can be woven into an invisibility sheet that was used during the invasion. Apart from that, the webs are just normal, with the additional fact that they are man-sized and stronger than steel but far lighter. But enough of the giant spider we're trying to send over to Pacifica. Instead, let's talk about... actually, just that. Today is finally the day we send Torchwick over to Pacifica. I'm sad to see him go, but happy to know that he'll have more room to move around and fly, and not that cramped enclosure. Speaking of the island, it's gotten bigger. Now it's nearly as long as India, but not half as wide. It's even started to develop a large section of archipelagos. We've really underestimated just how powerful the island bloom was. Having said this, Genus, after being told he had free rein to put whatever he wanted on it, got a bit carried away, and by that I mean a lot. He made a whole host of creatures for the island, in addition to a bunch of others that he used to test out several evolution-based theories, since many of them couldn't be brought out to the public or killed. We decided to stick it there since the island only has plant life and nothing else. Now, I'll be going over each creature created and will now be calling Pacifica its new home. I'll also be putting them in separate categories. There is the Piscines, such as the mermaids, sirens, whales, plesiosaurs, and sharks. Note, not all the animals on this list are exclusively fish, and are simply referred to being as aquatic. Firstly, sirens. The siren is an unusually large fish that has gained the ability to move upon land and breathe air. It's related to the lungfish and has several adaptations for both land and sea-based activity. Its pelvic fin have grown into arm and hand-like structures, allowing for mobility on land while dragging. Though slow on land, they move like a torpedo in the water. The tails are similar in structure and usage to an eel. They have very simple human-like skeletons that allow them to prop themselves upward, and can collapse this skeleton to become more streamlined or hide in smaller places. They have fins upon their head that give the appearance of hair, and facial structures that resemble a human face, save for the huge fish eyes on the upper part of its skull. They can also change color at will, but mostly stay in shades of blue to green, with red and yellows mixed in. Unlike their mythological counterparts, they don't have hypnotic songs. Instead, they mimic the sound they hear to lure the prey. The most common prey is mermaids. Mermaids. This group is divided into three separate groups: common mermaids, selkie, and merrow. I'll discuss each in detail. The common mermaid are the most abundant. They were made from apes, and unlike sirens, they are mammals and not fish. They have a physiology nearly comparable to humans. For example, their lower half, which has both legs fused to make a tail. They are covered in a structure similar to the keratin shell of a pangolin, giving them the appearance of scales nearly all over the body that appear green in color. They are completely hairless, save for the head, which is in abundance and long, used for both mating and as a lure. The males and females are nearly indistinguishable from each other. They have large eyes, webbed fingers that are highly dexterous, and intelligent minds that can craft tools. They no longer resemble apes, and now have a very uncanny valley-like appearance. They are fast swimmers, and can hold their breath for 20 minutes, and are highly social. Selkies are monkeys who have gone through the same changes. Although they keep their original face, their bodies are more similar to pinnipeds. They can easily move on land and gracefully in the water, holding their breath for up to 15 minutes, live in large family groups, and are unusually friendly. They are so friendly, in fact, that anyone can walk up and pet them. They come in shades of brown to beige and have a diet similar to the common mermaids, ideally crabs, fish, squid, and clams. They also are not half as intelligent. They are also not as half as intelligent as the common mermaids. Mero are large, aggressive mermaids that were once chimpanzees. They are far larger than the other two kinds and will regularly predate them and sirens. They have a female-dominant social structure, with males being only half the size of females. They come in colors ranging from brown to grey, and some will even have spotted patterns. They appear much like walruses, but are far larger and possess large tusks that protrude from the lower jaw to impale prey. They have no higher intelligence and always act like elephant seals in heat. Plesiosaur. This creature is not like the ancient dinosaur or the legendary Loch Ness monster. Instead, it's sea turtle with an extended neck, making it appear as such. Due to their long necks, reaching lengths of 10 feet, they can no longer go on land and must remain in the water full-time, which they are adapted to. They feed on fish, squid, crabs, and unsuspecting seabirds. Despite their design, they move very easily in the water and can use their necks and amazing eyesight to peek above the waters for prey and threats. Shark. The only shark we have is called the twin-tongued wrangler shark. This shark is much larger than any currently known shark, colored a deep dark red, and looks like any other shark. Apart from that, they have two sets of dorsal and tail fins to help them swim more easily through the water. As you might guess, they also have many attachments and a larger size. As you might guess, having so many attachments and a larger size, they need lots of food. And because of their size, color, and slow speed, getting food is nearly impossible. So, they have lures in their mouth that appear as a hand. If they swim close enough, or the prey does, they shoot out two tongues covered in teeth to grab and pull their prey into its mouth. Whales. We currently only have one type of whale, and thank goodness for that. We have called it the beach whale. It appears like a bowhead whale, but can safely beach itself, using its fins to pull itself up and away from land like a sea lion. This allows it to escape certain predators, sunbathe, or sleep on land. It is also extremely intelligent and empathetic, and will help beached whales return to the sea. We hope they go far and wide to help in these efforts. Avian. The currently known avian type animals on the island are the alicorn, griffin, banshee, red-faced breast, ancient peafowl, and dodo. Note, we have created several dozen kinds of birds, but I will go over just a few in these. Not all the animals here are birds, but they are out here because of the fact they can fly. Alicorn. Despite its name, it is not the fusion of a unicorn and a pegasus. It's more similar to that of a flying reptile. It appears as very large, upright, with wings made of skin, and their back limbs are two hoof-like toes. They possess a large, thick beak that gives them a horse-like appearance, and a large horn on its head, with smaller ones scattered around the base. Males will use this and their wings to fight during mating. They are completely omnivores and will eat anything they can fit in their mouths, or beat it to death with their beaks. They come in off-white to cream, and even a rare black coat. They live in small herds during mating seasons and will diverge afterwards. Griffin. Despite its name, it looks nothing like the half-lion, half-eagles of old myth. Instead, it's a strictly carnivorous, flying reptile. In saying that, we have several different types of griffin, but I will name and explain two of them. Sandcoat griffin is the smallest of their kind, only about the size of a large owl, colored sandy yellow with patterns on the top side of the wings, with said wings and said body plan that allows them to soar almost indefinitely over superheated terrains like the desert. Unlike the other kinds of giraffe, they stick low to the ground when idle, as opposed to upright. Their beaks are grewed for catching and holding prey until they can perch and eat. They are covered in a mix of fur-like quills and scales for a reflection of the harsh sun. Blue-throated griffin, on the other hand, are the largest griffin, and get its name from the bright blue patch of quills on their chest and throat region. They stand upright at 8 feet, with massive wingspans and clawed back feet, with hooked beaks for pulling apart prey. They have the second sharpest eyes, and the first being the sandcoat, and the best hearing. They mate with the same partner every year and help raise chicks. Banshee. This creature was once a stingray that has given a mammalian features. It then gained the ability to fly, but kept much of its stingray counterpart. They have no legs and instead dangle from branches on their strong, semi-prehensile tail. They crawl when on the ground, and live in large groups, swarming like bats during the day. The reason for their name is their ghostly blue color and their ability to scream at supersonic frequencies, to stun prey before swarming it like piranhas. Their scream sounds like a person crying in pain. Red-faced breast. A name I had no part in making is a medium navy blue bird with featherless neck and face that is colored red, with 2 organs on their chest that expand when filled with air. They use this for both intimidation and mating. They also produce a high-frequency call without organ. They play the role of carrion birds and eat the dead or decaying. Dodo bird. This bird was a creation of my own design, the result of early testing on the Singularity Soul. By using a pigeon, I evolved it into a new subspecies that is referred to as a dodo, but with one difference, that being its sole viable survival mechanism on the island as a primary food source. Its reproduction. If not eating, the dodo will mate constantly. This causes an explosion in population, since once an egg is laid, it will hatch in 24 hours and then develop into an adult in just a week, compensating for their lack of intelligence and awareness. How Pete is still alive despite the fast aging process is beyond me. Ancient peafowl. These birds are another one of my personal designs. They are made back when I was testing the effects of the Singularity Soul on different creatures. In doing so, I discovered that radiation, depending on its frequency, could induce evolution or quirks. During experimentation, I found the peafowl can gain a hypnotic quirk. I also used the same hypnotic peafowl to test my evolution theory. I somehow was able to turn it into a more primal form from when it was still a dinosaur, but still allowing it to keep a modern appearance and quirk. In short, they look like normal peafowls at a glance, but looking closer, you'll see that they look like little raptors. Their beaks shorten and razor-sharp teeth. Their feet gain talons and one exaggerated raptor claw. Their wings reformed into fingers with claws, and their eyes moved entirely to the front. They still act like a peafowl, but are much more aggressive and have become much more carnivorous. Alongside losing the ability to fly, they can run far faster. Terrestrial. This is the last group of animals I will be covering before moving on with the rest of my report. This includes the Salfanur, Dodongo, Screamers, Jackalope, Inslithrium, Brambleback, cats, bears, unicorns, and Deku sheep. Slefnir. This horse-like creature was made from horse and resembles a horse in every way apart from two specific characteristics. It has 6 legs and no body hair. Due to its large size, it has much larger lungs, heart, and leg muscles, allowing it to run fast and for long periods. It was supposed to be an alternative version of horses for labor and transportation, but came with harsh side effect of being a natural finger biter. Their skin comes in many coat colors as regular horses do, but only one body plan. A rare Sleipnir with a full coat, mane, and tail is called a unicorn. Dodongo. This creature was also made from horses, but for completely different reasons. Due to still ongoing but slow growth of Pacifica, rocks began to overtake both the beaches and forests, uprooting trees and destroying plant life. So, in response, we made a creature that ingests stone, and we made a lot. Its blunt yet sturdy teeth can cut and grind down stone with ease, and its highly corrosive stomach acid with even more ease. Despite being made from a horse, they look nothing alike, almost like one that evolved after humans went extinct and couldn't selectively breed them anymore. They are large, wide, low, slow-moving, short-legged, with short faces and stubby noses with large bull horns, short tails, ash-grey skin with no body hair, 5-toed limbs, and a relaxed disposition. They are so relaxed and unbothered by everything that they will allow you to poke and prod and try pushing them around without any backlash. Note: Dodongo milk is very sweet and holds the same consistency as yogurt. Screamers. This small creature resembles a wild dog with several reptilian features. They are highly social pack hunters that live in groups of 10 to 20. They have large eyes and large ears, which allow them to be perfect nocturnal hunters. The reason for their names is that they communicate and frighten prey by screaming. They can even mimic the distress calls of other animals. They use this to induce panic when there is no need for it, or to misguide prey. Jackalope. This creature appears as North American hare, except for a horn growing from the top of the forehead. They both act, eat, and reproduce like regular hares, except for the horn. Even though they do not use it to fight, any male can come equipped with either 1 or 3. Unfortunately, most females favor males with a single strong horn. If the horn is short, broken, in a irregular spot, or if not all horns present are the same length, they won't mate. Brambleback. These are groups of herbivorous mammals that with turtle-like shells. Like the dodongo, they are short-legged, low-walking, slow, wide, 5-toed, heavy animals, but much larger, around the size of an elephant. They have a short face, slits for noses, an ear hole, large oxen horns, a semi-prehensile shovel-like tail, a black shell that covers them to where their knee joints are, and a saggy brown hair on their underside, legs, and face. On their back are a menagerie of osteoderm growths that take the form of brambles. They will use these osteoderms to snag and hook planks onto their backs, where they will then use their shovel tails to scoop and sprinkle dirt on their backs. This will cause their shells to become mobile gardens. The ones with the largest, healthiest, and most eye-catching gardens will be able to mate. When sleeping, they will use the natural grooves in their shells to dig themselves into the ground, completely protecting their unarmored side. They are also extremely strong, able to knock over the oldest trees to eat their leaves. This dietary style allows open areas for grass and shrubs to grow, with natural pathways through dense woods. The gardens on their back allow them to spread fertile soil and new seeds to different areas. Inusiterium. These large ungulates, which stand between 15 and 20 feet tall, appear very similar to the ancient Parasterium. Only two have been made, and I shall go over both of them in this section. Rumblehorns are the most muscular and the strongest of the two species. They have almost no hair and are covered in thick, loose skin that is colored from brown to gray. They are very gentle with small creatures, especially humans, almost acting like horses, and are highly aggressive to bigger creatures. The two most noticeable features of them are their horns and spurs. The horns, grown to look like massive antlers, are used in fighting and self-defense. The spurs are used solely for mating fights, as the feet are more effective at crushing would-be attackers. Loophorns are weaker but far taller and faster than the rumblehorns. They are covered in saggy hair that is patterned similar to a giraffe, and the temperament is different, with the addition of a mane present in males and females that goes from their head down to the length of their necks. Despite this, the most striking feature is their horns, which they have grown into perfect circles, with the males growing the biggest. They use these horns to eat. By walking on their hind legs and backward, they can hook branches of almost any size through them. Once hooked, standing on all fours and allow the branches to hang down towards their face, so they can quickly eat with their long tongue. When finished, they simply walk away, which enables the branch to slide out of its horn. This helps the trees by stripping away dead leaves, freeing up space for new ones, pruning back branches, or just breaking off dead ones. If a branch snaps and falls to the floor, it is eaten by ground feeders or used as mulch. If the branch breaks and stays on the horns, they will walk off with it as a snack on the go. Cats. We only made two different types of cat-like creatures, and I shall go over them both in this section. The white-maned mauler is a big cat that closely resembles a leopard, but with males possessing a white mane similar to lions. They live in family groups of 2 or 4, and females do most of the hunting, while males tend to clubs. They are just as strong, fast, and stealthy as leopards, but with one difference. Instead of choking their prey to death, they maul it to death, leading to drawn-out kills. Some of them even use the death roll, like gators and crocs. The Cheshire Cat is similar to a small cat in structure, appearance, and behavior, most commonly resembling a palace cat, but with two key differences. The Cheshire Cat can change the pigmentation of its fur to camouflage in almost any environment, and its unique facial muscles allow it to smile, But this is a sign of aggression, and if it does smile at you, run and protect your vitals. Bears. Like many others, we only have made 2, so I'll go over both in detail. The galloping orsa is a medium solitary bear with a body plan like a running animal that can hit speeds of 45 miles per hour. Due to its body and much lighter weight, it is entirely a carnivore and chases down fast prey with specialized teeth to grab tightly. They often work with screamers to take down larger, faster or flighty prey. Short-faced mountain shakers, on the other hand, are the largest of the 2 bears, and outsize the ancient short-faced bears of North America. Due to their size, they move very slowly and only run in short bursts, so they can target slow-moving prey. Brambleback and dodongos are their preferred prey. Using their massive bodies and strength, they can easily topple these huge creatures on their backs and expose their soft undersides. Unicorns. These are the most abundant of the creatures we made, and due to the numbers, I'll generalize all of them. Despite its name, they are nothing like the horse-like creatures of European mythology. The only thing that links them to their namesake is that they are 4-legged, hair-covered ungulates that have horns growing from the center of their forehead. Many of them are more like deer and antelope in appearance and morphology. They use the single horn for self-defense, fighting, and mating. They are the most numerous, living in herds of hundreds of individuals, and come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors. They are highly adaptable and can live in almost any climate and outspeed most predators. Deku sheep. This was a name I was not expecting for this animal. Although made by me, I didn't initially approve of the name since it is tied to my old trauma. But after some convincing from the staff that it was made to be the opposite of its original meaning, I decided to play it. This sheep is far more aggressive and wilder than the classic domestic sheep, and I made it during different tests. To learn more about it, please refer to my previous experimental logs. In short, it is perfectly suited to live in a harsh and predator-heavy environment. And yeah, that's all the animals being sent off with Torchwick, in addition to a bunch of different bugs and fish that will be sent with lots of plants that I will not cover in this log. But they're pretty tough and can resist heat and fire, especially when Torchwick decides he wants a barbecue. I forgot to mention that in order to handle this many animals, another specialized splinter was made, called the 420 Peace Out Splinter. I didn't agree with the name, and I'm sure Egon didn't either, but in short, this splinter calms all creatures to a state they can be handled without the need of the good boy splinter to make them docile and domestic. Now, I'm sure why many of these creatures are so dangerous. Well, 1, that's just how they were made, and we didn't have the heart to kill them. And 2, to make sure no humans try to inhabit the island. We may go there, but only for research purposes. There are no full-time settlement actions. I have 4 other things I'd like to report on. Before the invasion, Dr. Robbie and Pura both came from the original dig spot where Egon found the Singularity Soul, where they brought 2 things: more Singularity Soul deposits, and, since I'm allowed to report on this, an alien. We called it Starro, since it looked so much like a starfish, but had one very human eye. It can also make copies of itself that can control people, but kill them in the process. After Torchwick decimated the Yakuza later, we managed to get DNA samples from each one of their highest ranking members to create splinters. In our collective, we have Chronostasis, Mimic, Barrier, Sloshed, Confession, Energy Sock, Strong Arm, Lyrancy, Crystallize, food, and overhaul. The next thing to bring up is during the event of overhaul turning into a giant monster, we absorbed so much of the facility that it let out an animal that wasn't supposed to. A vampire of sorts that was an attempt to fuse the bat and human immune systems, but kept going wrong. Before Professor Genius could kill his failure, the invasion happened, and then it escaped. Luckily, it didn't stay free for long, since we found it and I killed it. I'll be honest, I'm not totally over killing that creature. It was so human, it was nearly uncanny. I truly thought it was no different from a person or another intelligent creature. But when I saw its dead body afterwards, my mind was set. It had a shape-shifting ability that allowed it to take a human-like form, which is why I felt so bad. But underneath that was just an animal, with no control over its physical form. It reverted back to its original state. It looked like a giant bat with a female human body, like a fursona, but was less cut and sexy, and more horrifying and realistic. During this time, we found its nest and the eggs that it laid. I'm glad we got to them soon, as we did, because if we didn't, what hatched out of them would have destroyed the ecosystem in Japan. The day after we put our dozens of eggs in a testing chamber, they hatched. We expected the worst, but the worst really wasn't that bad. Instead of more monsters, we got giant bats. That's it. They weren't even half as smart as their mother, which was a relief, and also had half her abilities, which was another relief. As such, we called them vampire, which I know is real original. Anyway, as I said, they are normal giant vampire bats, the size of horses, with dark grey to dark brown colours and a ring of coloured fur around their neck, with their males coloured white. Apart from that, they do have some unique adaptations. Their fur, which also has scales mixed in, can reflect moonlight in order to make them turn invisible in the night sky. They also have gill-like features on their necks, which don't have any aquatic purposes. Instead, they release a thick, opaque gas that can hide their huge bodies and allow them to sneak around silently on the ground. Since they can see infrared, they have no trouble navigating in their own smoke. Finally, they can mitotically reproduce and create small bat-like creatures from their bodies they use to hide, distract, or escape. These babies have microscopic lifespans and only live long enough to serve one purpose. They are more similar to unintelligent copies of their parents. As you might have guessed, due to their huge size, they need an exorbitant amount of food, and when they do catch something big enough, they'll drain all their blood in a matter of minutes. That's why they would be such a problem here. So, that's why we're sending them to Pacifica. They will also be helpful in keeping the spider population at bay, since it was found that Ungoliot can reproduce with a male, and since most creatures on the subcontinent would be little challenge for the giant spider, the vampire will be useful in keeping the balance, and the final creature population in check. We also have no idea how they reproduce, but for now, we assume them to be like monotremes, mammals that can lay eggs. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Never knew we'd had so much to cover. Anyway, I'll end it right here and be back when more discoveries are made or when the others or I do experiments. This is Dr. Izuku Midoriya signing off. Hey fishies, how you going? This is recorded before my 2 week break from normal kind of break is that I was still uploading, but this is recorded like before my what do you call it again? No, this is recorded after my Long Night in the Valley series came out, so woohoo! Whoops! Yeah, I'm recording this on my bed because squeaky deaky. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.